Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. This week, in my weekly lesson, we're talking about Remembrance Sunday and how British people remember the war dead once a year in November. Now, there's a headline in the Daily Express which talks about one of the Scottish leaders who refused to sing the national anthem, God Save the King, at this year's Remembrance service. Now, as you know, right now, in the UK, we have different governments in different parts of the UK. So we have the central government, we have the Scottish government, who is demanding independence, and we also have a government in Northern Ireland and one in Wales. So one of the leaders from the Scottish government refused to sing the national anthem, presumably as a protest against the central government. So we're going to read that story today. It says here, the Scottish National Party's leader at Westminster did not join other leaders in singing God Save the Queen, or King as it's changed to when we have a king instead of a queen. Stephen Flynn has been accused of falling shamefully short of the standards expected after not singing the national anthem during the Remembrance Sunday service at the Cenotaph. That's the war memorial. The Scottish National Party's leader remained silent as other political party leaders and former prime ministers sang God Save the King. The Conservatives said while he may be entitled to his own views, given his senior role as a party leader, he has a duty to show respect on a day like this. Lives from all over the UK have been lost during conflicts, and the service he attended was a poignant moment to remember them. His apparent refusal to sing God Save the King, the UK's national anthem, means that he fell shamefully short of standards expected, says this particular person. Mr. Flynn, who did not sing the anthem at last year's service as well, was also criticised by users on social media platform X. But in a post, he said he was very proud to honour those who had died during the war. He said the democratic rights and freedoms that those who came before us fought and died for remain the most precious thing we all collectively own. And then the news report continues that different people were laying their flowers, and there's a whole list of people here who laid them. I know that Nigel Farage was upset because he doesn't have enough numbers to lay his own wreath. It's very political, this. So they were all laying flowers when this man refused to sing God Save the King. Now, there are a number of people who protest against Remembrance Sunday because they see it as something very colonial and something left over from our British Empire days. The story doesn't say why Mr. Flynn refused to sing the national anthem, but I would guess that it's all to do with Scottish independence and him not recognising Prince Charles, or King Charles as he is now, I'm a bit out of date, as being king. So he probably doesn't recognize King Charles as being king, although I think I read somewhere that if Scotland does become independent, they have a plan to keep the royal family as heads of state. I might be wrong there, but I'm sure that I read that somewhere. So that's making big headline news in the UK today. I know that in recent years they've been debating whether Scotland should have its own national anthem. It has kind of an unofficial one, which is called Flower of Scotland, but it's not an official anthem, probably because it has very hostile lyrics about throwing England out and sending King Edward home to think again. Having said that, the UK national anthem is not much better. Many of the verses, I believe in that, or at least one of them anyway, is incredibly violent about Britain's opponents. And so that doesn't get sang or sung anymore either. But very interesting in these days of protest. Speaking of King, do you remember that 80s pop song, Love and Pride by King? King was an 80s pop band. They had a big hit with Love and Pride. I think the guy's name was Paul King, if I remember correctly. Last I saw of him, he was a TV presenter on one of the music channels. Love and Pride by King. Let's go through some of these lyrics because it's a great song. And if you don't know it, I recommend that you go to YouTube and hear it. You might not remember the song, but you'll definitely remember the tune because it was a big, big hit in the 1980s. So the lyrics of this song, which is called Love and Pride by King, we're going to read through them. By the way, this is nothing to do with King Charles, okay? This is a pop group called King, and it's nothing to do with a rapper called King either. This is 1980s King. Right, it says here, Love and Pride by King. That's what my heart yearns for now, love and pride. That's what my heart yearns for now, love and pride. So to yearn is to very deeply search for something. It's a very poetic word. When you're really searching deeply, your heart is yearning, maybe for love or affection. It's not just like yearning for food or searching for the next website. Yearning is a very deep, deep thing which pulls you. And then King tells us, start your journey early or maybe later, get your boots on. Look for rainbows. It's cloudy. Take your hairdryer. Blow them all away. Okay, well, I mean, these lyrics don't make a lot of sense, but take your hairdryer. That's the thing that we use to dry our hair, those of us who have hair. And then he says, blow them all away of love and pride. These lyrics don't really have much meaning. They're just random words, it seems. And then he says, that's what my heart yearns for now, love and pride. That's what my heart yearns for now, love and pride. Knowing, sensing, seeing, eating, sleeping, that's just being. Touching, testing, loving, wanting and taking more love and more pride. Oh, he's good with the gerund, isn't he? All these INGs, knowing, sensing, seeing, eating, sleeping. A good song to practice your gerund or your continuous tenses. And then he says again, that's what my heart yearns for now. Ah, 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 oh, ah, ah. Yeah. And then he just repeats the same words over and over again. You'll definitely know the tune. It was a really big 80s song. And I think the takeaway from the song is the word yearning. Okay, so to to yearn is to really search for deeply, and it's a really good word to use if you want to be poetic. If you're sick, oh, I'm yearning to have my health back, yearning for love, yearning to be understood. Yearning. Some people say that love yearns to be expressed and understood. It's a beautiful expression, that. So there we are. Paul King. The group was just known as King, and the song was Love and Pride from the 1980s. We've been talking about that because someone in the Scottish government refused to sing the national anthem during the Remembrance celebrations. And that's kind of a big thing. It's not criminal. I mean, we can say whatever we want about our royal family because we live in a democracy. We can give our own opinions about them, but what we can't do is to stir up hatred about them. I never really felt that they have anything in common with me. I like the Queen. She was a sweet old lady, but some of the older members who appear at the Remembrance services, they have like cousins and old aunts and uncles that are very much into the institution. They're very much part of UK culture. They were probably fighting in the war. They're church people, military people. Some of them look like they've been pickled in gin because they look very old. And of course, they all would be very rich coming from the king's family. But I don't really think about the royal family in my daily life. Some people do, I suppose, but they're just part of the institution that I don't really have a lot of patience for, to be honest. And it seems in talking to many of you around the world that it's all like that. There are those of us who work, do our things, and then there's others who live in this kind of institutional realm. They work for the government, or they have connections with the government, the military, the church, whatever. Anyway, that's it from me today. That's all about the leader who refused to sing the national anthem. And there's more and more protesters appearing over the years. And then we spoke about the song Love and Pride from the 1980s by a man called Paul King, who was a big singer in the 80s. There we are. Right, that's it from me. Have a wonderful day. Bye.